I'm Anthony. I'm 59 years old and I've just found out that I've managed to reduce my body fat percentage by 15.4% in the last 14 months. I'm going to show you how I measured it and the life changes that I made to achieve it. In my local gym, there's a machine that monitors your height, your weight, your BMI and your body fat percentage. 14 months ago, I put a coin in the machine and it gave me my reading, and I kept the receipt. For a man of my age, it showed that I was too heavy, my BMI was too high, and my body fat percentage was too big. And I considered myself to be in fairly good shape. I do accept that with these machines there is probably a degree of inaccuracy. However, to me, this reading was a red flag. And I knew that I had to make changes to my lifestyle. Ultimately, the choice of what and how much food I choose to eat is mine. I live in a family setting where we have an evening meal together most days, so making changes there was always going to be a little tricky. So I decided to look at what I eat during the rest of the day. I've also been training consistently with pull-ups, muscle-ups, push-ups, squats, all things calisthenics. I was trying to build muscle and lose weight at the same time. 2 weeks ago, I revisited that gym. I put another coin in that machine and I received a different set of readings. Now, I do accept that there is a degree of inaccuracy with these. They're not top of the range machines. However, the difference was quite startling. My body fat percentage had dropped by 15.4% in the last 14 months. So let me tell you some of the changes I made to my life that had this profound effect on my body fat percentage. Well, firstly, I try to stay consistent with my training, at least 3 to 4 times a week, doing pull-ups, squats, push-ups, just something active and physical. Most days I do have a protein shake and take creatine. Usually that's a 5-gram scoop in my shake. I don't take any other supplements. With regular exercise and changing my diet, together these two brought the results of that significant drop in body fat percentage. So what was my dietary changes that I've made during the last 14 months? Well, there was quite a few, but if I was to sum it up, I would say increase the amount of protein I was eating and reduce the amount of carbohydrates. I also cut back massively on sugar while trying to reduce my processed food intake as well. I'm trying to stay away from anything that comes under the category of ultra processed. Now, before we start, I'm not going to tell you what's good or bad for you or give you a lecture of any sort. I'm just going to tell you the changes that I made and what worked for me. So let's start with bread. I massively reduced the amount of bread, crusty rolls, croissants, anything to do with bread. I've tried to reduce massively. I haven't cut it out completely, but I have reduced it. When you're out with friends and the opportunity for having a coffee and a bit of cake, well, I just stick with the coffee. And more often than not, it's black. So it's about 6 calories. As opposed to a coffee and a cake running into the hundreds of calories. This morning I had a couple of poached eggs, an avocado, and the little paprika on top. It's delicious, but no bread. instead of a sugary fruit juice to go with it, just have a black coffee or a glass of water. If I am having a workout during the day, I will always include a protein shake, often with a banana thrown into it as well. During the working week, I would either skip lunch, or if it was in a work environment, I would have a salad or something from the light bite menu. And no cake, no carbonated drinks, no soda, and no alcohol, especially during daylight hours. My work involves me travelling around the country quite a lot, so fast food restaurants were always very tempting. Now I try and stay clear of them most of the time, but if I do visit them, I'll have a black coffee. I may have something from a healthier side of the menu, but definitely no French fries. And then when it comes to snacking, either mid-morning or mid-afternoon, when you start to feel a little bit hungry, then I'll try and resist and just have a piece of fruit or a glass of water. Sometimes you just need to distract yourself and your thought process, because it's not long before your next meal. Then we have the evening meal. Now, as I said earlier, I live in a family setting, so it's not so easy to dictate to everybody what we're going to eat at every evening meal. However, I do have the choice of how much vegetables and how much potatoes to put on my plate. So I tend to go for the options which give me more protein and more vegetables and less carbohydrates. Maybe selecting brown rice instead of white, and an extra portion of vegetables instead of more potatoes. Now, I love a nice meal, and there's nothing I like more than at the end of the meal seeing if there's any leftovers and having a second portion. So that's something I've eliminated from my habits, as well as focusing on the portion size that you give yourself. As I keep reminding myself that I'm the one that's in control of what I eat. So having made all these small changes over the last 14 months, I went back to that same gym that I went to, and I stood on that machine that gave me that reading saying my BMI was too high, I was overweight, and my body fat percentage was 42%. I'm not really sure what I was expecting this time around, because my body weight hadn't really changed over the period of the last 14 months. But I did feel that I was a lot stronger and a lot musclier than I had been previously. So when I found out my body fat percentage had dropped by 15.4%, I was delighted. I'm now at the top end of the ideal range for someone of my age. So what is my current body fat percentage? Well, I don't mind sharing it with you. It's 27.2%. So I'm not stacked, I'm not ripped, I'm not shredded, and I don't have a six-pack. All the muscle ups performed in this video was taken in one take. I hope you enjoyed the video and got something out of it. If you have, please do give it a thumbs up. The algorithm will absolutely love it, and it helps me out a lot too. And if you haven't already subscribed, this would be a great time to do so, and don't forget to hit that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next one.